Welcome to the Know Before You Go Travel Show, where we share all the latest travel tips, tricks, and insights to make your next vacation the best one yet. So sit back, relax, grab a cocktail, and enjoy the show with Penyak Travel's George Penyak and our senior travel consultant, Janet Penyak.
What is up, everybody?
Hey, everyone.
Welcome back to another edition of the Know Before You Go Travel Show, and we've got a show for you today.
We are fresh off vacation.
We are back. We had a long hiatus for those that follow the podcast, and we have a lot of followers out there and subscribers. Yeah, you notice we had a break, but we had to get away.
Yes.
We had to kind of decompress from all the stuff going on over here. It's just been we had to decompress from 2020 as a whole.
Yeah,
it's
2020 has been one heck of a year. That's for sure.
New Year's Eve 2021 is going to be, or New Year's Eve 2020, I guess, going into 2021.
It's going to be the huge
biggest celebration ever.
Yeah,
we got through it.
Bye,
we got through this
2020.
crazy year.
Yeah,
but yeah, we feel great. So we've been gone. We've been at Unico.
Yeah, so we flew to Cancun, and when we were there, we were supposed to spend 7 nights there. And because our original travel dates had been affected, they offered a free night. And since right now the airlines aren't charging anything to change your flights, there's no change fees anyway. So we took advantage of another free night. So we spent 8 nights there. It was fabulous.
Yeah, we had a couple free nights. It was great, and it was kind of cool. We've rarely, maybe it's probably happened before, but it feels nice when you're there and you don't know when you have to leave. It's kind of like, oh, let's just stay the extra day. Like, that
because we
works.
kind of waited to decide, and so we decided that 2 days before we were originally supposed to leave. We're like, okay, yeah, let's stay another day. Yeah,
it felt so good to just get away. And what was really cool about traveling right now is it was like the airports were dead. The resort was only at 25%, 20% capacity. Service was fabulous. I felt safe throughout the whole time, which, by the way, this episode we're going to get into the
just what it was like to travel right now, and then we'll get into the resort the next.
Yeah, we're going to have I don't want to overhype it.
Yeah.
Fire.
And the resort wasn't at
Podcast
25% capacity the whole time we were there. Whenever we first got there, it was about 10 to 15%. It was really low. So we felt like we had the place to ourselves. And then, the airports were empty. Yeah, the airports were empty. The plane was pretty empty. We got Lucia in the studio here. We got our dog. Yeah, so if you hear if your dog's groaning, and that's a dog. Yeah, she's playing with her ball. It is a dog. But it felt so good to decompress and kind of relax for a little bit, kick our feet up. It's been a long year for the business, for United States as a whole, especially for Penyak Travel. It's just been crazy. And it was good. But traveling has, I don't want to say it's changed drastically, but there are some pretty big changes, at least in the short term here, in the near future, for traveling. And so we want to get into a podcast on what that was like, because we got hit up a lot in our DMs on Penyak Travel, both Facebook and Instagram, asking what it was like, because people saw us traveling. We have a really good Instagram story on Unico. If you go to our Instagram page, Penyak Travel, you click it's on the homepage, our home thing. You just hit Unico, and you'll see our whole story on what it was like to travel, blah, blah, blah. But people saw us tagging Unico on Instagram, and they were messaging us, like, what is it like? Like, is it like, do you have to wear a mask the whole time? Is it safe? Blah, blah, blah. So all those questions were like, we have to do a podcast and kind of clear the air on what it's like today, at least today, to travel. And what's today? It's the June 28th? June 28th, yeah. Half the year's over? Yes, it is. What the world? Yep. What? And one thing I want to say, too, with this traveling, so traveling to Mexico, there into the state of Quintana Roo, where Cancun is, they do not have as strict of policies as, like, if you're going to some other islands or going to some islands like Jamaica, Antigua, Grenada, St. Lucia. They all have a little bit more strict entry policies right now. Mexico has the most lax, and that was one of the reasons too that we wanted to go. Like, you don't have to take a COVID test before you go or on arrival. It was pretty much the same exact procedure entering Cancun as when we were there in March.
Yeah, when we say entering Cancun, we mean from the time we get to the Cancun airport, yes, and then leave the airport. So going through the airport We didn't have to fill out any extra information.
Right, which I was actually surprised about. We did not have to do a health declaration or anything like that.
Yeah, and so it could have been a mistake, but that's just how it was. And you're right. I think it is island by island and resort area by area, country by country on what you're going to have to go through to get there.
Yes.
But I will say this. Even if we had to take a COVID test, they could stick that thing way up my nose. It looks like terribly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But even if I had to go through that to have the whole resort to myself, 15-20% capacity, I would do that because it was so worth it.
Yeah.
I would do a lot to get to the property because it was so cool. And by the way, speaking of sliding to our DMs, we had a couple shout outs here.
Yeah.
Got to give a shout out to our listeners here. So Bobby hit us up for a trip to the Bahamas. I remember he slid into our DMs. I think he
was it Bahamas? I thought that was New Grill.
Oh, Sandals and Grill. You're right.
Yeah. Sandals
and Grill. He heard our episode on Sandals and Grill that we went to last year. Hit us up. Thank you, Bobby, for hitting us up. Tara from Indiana hit us up. She found us on a YouTube page. She's doing a destination wedding, right?
Yep, at Sandals Grenada in July of 2022.
And you're the best at that. And then also, too, we had Macy hit us up. Macy was actually a travel agent. She was asking about what it was like to travel during COVID. And so that's where we got the idea, like, well, this would be a great episode.
Yes.
So I don't know if Macy listens to the podcast, but she slid into our DMs, which is okay. I love people sliding our DMs.
Yes. Well, you always bring it up every episode.
I know, but that's where we get some of these great ideas for a show.
Yes.
So, but going back to the purpose of the show.
Yeah, what it was like.
Yeah, so what it was like. Let's start from the very beginning.
Yeah,
let's start from the United States and getting onto the property.
Yeah, so we flew out of Charleston, and we did Charleston to Miami, Miami to Cancun. And the Charleston airport, so we have TSA pre-check, so the pre-check process wasn't really any different, but from what I have heard through other agents and through other people, that they are being a little more strict now on the liquids that you have. You know, they want you to have, your liquids in your carry-on in a separate plastic bag. They've always wanted that, but it's never really been strictly enforced. But I've heard that is being more enforced now. So just a little recommendation, if you have, your hand sanitizer, travel size shampoo, toothpaste, that sort of thing, just put it all together in a Ziploc bag, and then just be prepared to take that out when you go through security. And then when we got inside of the airport, that was where it was really different because it was so dead in there.
Very disappointing because, and I guess I shouldn't say disappointing because I understand the economics behind it, but everything was closed in the airport.
Everything was closed.
And we thought it might just be Charleston. Charleston is a smaller but very rapidly growing airport. And no restaurants were open. Except
for Burger King.
And things are open here in South Carolina. Like, all the restaurants are open, out and about the city. And so we thought for sure there would be a place to get breakfast. And we were there at a normal hour. Like, we weren't there, like, super early in the morning.
Our flight was at 8 a.m.
Typically on a weekend, especially in June, airports hustle and bustle right now in Charleston. Yeah. All the restaurants would be open, shops. Really, nothing was open but the Burger King.
Burger King, and then one of the, like, Hudson News, travel stores.
Yeah, where you could get, like, magazines and snacks and stuff like that.
Right, but that was it. So Burger King was the only place to get breakfast, coffee. There was nothing else open. So that was kind of a surprise, and I guess...
And by the way, McDonald's breakfast is way better than Burger King.
Okay.
I love BK, though. I love them both.
It was good, yeah.
But you can't beat a good Egg McMuffin.
Yeah.
But when you only have one choice.
Yeah, you have.
I'm getting the croissant
go
witch.
With that. Right.
Croissant witch, that's what it is.
So, and I guess it kind of like took a little bit of excitement away because, usually when we're going on vacation, we get to the airport, we're like, okay, we're going to sit down, we're going to have a nice meal, we're going to get some coffee, get a mimosa.
And we couldn't do that. It kind of hurt the experience.
Yeah, you couldn't do that. So it was just different. It was just very different.
And we didn't know. I think we both kind of assumed because everything is open here that it'd be the same. Like,
I thought that stuff would be open and just tables spread further apart and,
Yeah, because when we go through airports, typically if we have enough time, we like to sit down and get a meal. Like, if we have to eat on the road, like, I like grab and go, if you like a Burger King or McDonald's if you have to, or Starbucks. But it's so nice to try some of the local restaurants because you'd be surprised. Some of these restaurants in these airports are locally owned.
Right.
They just are. They're just franchised out and they're inside that location at the airport. And but one of our favorite places is I think it's the Golden Bear. It's
yes.
Jack Nicklaus's restaurant that's in the Charleston, and it was closed. We were like,
yeah. So
we like to get our mimosas. We like to feel like it's vacation.
So be prepared for that. If you don't want to eat like fast food or something like that, either eat your breakfast at home or grab something else on the way to the airport because there's not really much open.
Yeah, and so that was, and we got through it. Like, we had our coffee, we had our breakfast. Everything, obviously, there's social distancing everywhere. Everything was spaced out.
They even had signs on the seats at the airport.
Yeah.
You know, like in the, you know, when you're waiting at your gate, you know, they had like every other seat blocked off. Not blocked off, but they just had a sticker on them, you know, like reminding you of social distancing.
Yeah, but the airport was very empty.
Yes.
And so that was kind of our experience in Charleston. Then we actually got on the plane. And so that was interesting. And so, by the way, we haven't done any temperature checks.
Yes.
At this point. We just are, it feels, other than wearing a mask and everything is super clean and the social distancing, kind of felt like, okay, we know the process, right?
Right. And there were no masks required inside of the airport, not in that airport, or when we got to Miami, it wasn't required either. But on the plane, it is required.
Yeah, on the plane, it is required. And also, too, while we're at the airports, I would say most people wore them, I think.
Yeah, it was pretty...
It felt like 75% of people pretty much had them on.
Right.
Unless you had a coffee in your hand. Like, yeah, you have to eat and drink, you know.
Yeah.
So that felt... And I always felt safe. Like, I never felt like unsafe, to be honest. And I think that's the big question. But safety is a personal thing. Like,
right.
Like, what we feel safe in, other people might not feel safe in. But for us, I mean, I never felt like, oh, you know, this is a dirty area. Like, it was, everything felt super, super clean.
Yes. Yeah, no, I would agree. And so, you know, throughout the boarding process, you know, they just reminded you, you know, to social distance and everything. So that was kind of, I mean, wasn't really any different, except standard, they just, I told you to social distance.
It's like the obvious.
Then, yeah, when we got on the plane was super clean.
It was the cleanest plane I've ever been on.
Yes.
Not that planes were already dirty, it's just you could tell.
Yeah, you could just tell that it just felt very clean. The air felt crisp and clean to me. I don't know. It felt good getting on the plane.
Yeah, it could have been like the placebo effect because you know it's been like super clean. And also, too, it was the first flight for that plane that day.
Yeah.
So they did the extensive cleaning, the fogging the night before. Fortunate for us, we were in first class,
yes.
which makes a big difference right now. So we have to talk about this. If you're going to book a flight, if you can get in first class, it will change the experience a good bit for you.
Yes.
You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So absolutely. I mean, not only when you get first class do you get, you know, the free checked bag with that, but right now they are offering service in first class, drink service. So you can get, you know, coffee, water, soda. If you want an alcoholic beverage, you can get that. But if you are in economy, they are not doing your standard beverage service. Now, if you do want like a water, you can call the flight attendant, you know, and ask them to bring you that. But they're not doing your standard beverage service.
Yeah, because they don't want the flight attendant touching all the cups and passing. Because then you have to give the cup back to the flight attendant. It just kind of increases that risk, I think, of transfer. And there goes our dog, Lucia, Penyak travel mascot over here.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of a big deal for us because I was like, on some of the flights they're pretty long.
Oh, right.
And you're not doing service back in economy. It's like, whoa, that's a big difference.
Yeah, and it's based on how long of a flight you are. I think, and we flew American Airlines, by the way. We should mention that. But I think if it's under 2,200 miles, then that's when they're not doing that. So, and then
so if it's for economy, even if it's over in 2,200 miles, they will do the drink service in economy.
Yeah, they'll offer you something. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
So they also did not give the snacks. You know, usually you get like the little, what is it, Biscoff cookies or whatever.
Yeah.
They did not offer that. So just on our flight down, you know, we were in first class. We just called the flight attendant, which he did not come.
We didn't do snacks either.
No, but we just called him and he brought us water and coffee.
Yeah.
And so that was fine. But as far as, you know, cleaning measures on the plane, you know, they really are disinfecting all areas of the plane. George is looking at our dog right now.
We don't edit anything. It's just
she's making some noises. She's very happy to have her ball.
Lucia the travel pup.
Yeah, and Lucia, named after the island St. Lucia. Anyways, so they are disinfecting all high-touch surfaces. So your seatbelt buckles, your tray tables, all of your seats, the seat backs, the window shade coverings. They're doing all of the overhead bins. And then they also, you know, have filters, HEPA filters in there that circulate the air. It says 2 to 4 times, like every other minute or something.
I felt like it smelled fresher and cleaner than a normal plane does.
Yeah, no, that's what it felt. It just felt really clean.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's like, again, it could be we're expecting crazy clean, and we got it. And we're, there was probably some level of that, like the expectation was so high, and we kind of were like, whoa, this is so different,
right?
But definitely felt clean, and it made me feel safe. Like I never felt unsafe. There were a lot of empty seats, which kind of felt like, okay, people are spaced out.
Yeah,
right?
I was going to say our plane
20%
was
full?
probably about 25% full. Charleston to Miami was about 25% full.
Yeah.
So.
But the biggest difference, I guess, in the whole experience is wearing the mask the entire time.
Yes,
I did not enjoy that at all.
Yeah, I didn't enjoy it either. But they, the flight attendants do come on and they tell you to, please wear your mask the entire time, except, when you're eating or drinking. So if you are eating a snack or, taking a sip of water, then, that's totally fine.
Yeah, yeah. And I felt like I had to pull my mask down, take a couple sips of coffee, just to get a break from it. Because I didn't enjoy it. Now, we ordered new masks off Amazon that are much more comfortable. We were wearing the surgical medical masks, which are not... Listen, let's be real. No one likes wearing these things.
Oh, yeah.
They're awful. There's no way around it. But we ordered some off Amazon that are a lot more comfortable. And some people in the airport did have the more, elastic band type mask that looked way more comfortable. But we were roughing it out in the surgical stuff.
Well, and real quick, with the mask, because I was wondering, I'm like, well, I hope they ask you to bring them down when you're going through security, because
they did, yeah. That's true.
Yeah, to make sure, that you are the person on the ID, because that's kind of scary.
Like when you're going through TSA pre-check, or
right.
TSA. Yeah.
And they did. They told you, to pull your mask down. So
yeah. So that was interesting, though. And then what was real crazy, so we were sitting there talking on the plane. We're like, I wonder if Miami's going to be open so we can actually get some decent food and maybe a mimosa. Because it was still early when we landed in Miami. Nope.
Nothing. I have never seen the Miami airport so dead. I mean, I've been in the Charleston airport when
it's been dead,
when it's not been many people in there, but Miami, I have never seen it like that.
It was a ghost town.
It was definitely
a ghost town. Especially in the summer.
Yeah.
We were traveling in June. In Miami, this place should have been packed. It was really weird.
And Miami's a really nice airport. I love that airport. It's huge, so you have to be prepared to walk, a long way. But there's so many different restaurants and bars and shops there. I love that airport, and everything was closed except for Starbucks.
Yeah, everything was closed. They just had the gates down on everything.
Yes,
it was just a ghost town. It was really weird. Now, there may have been other areas in the airport that were open.
We were in the main D terminal.
The international terminal.
Yep.
And it was just really weird. It was like the strangest thing we'd ever seen. So that's when we were like, whoa, this is now very different.
Yes.
Because we were thinking Charleston was an anomaly. It's a small airport. These bigger airports are going to be open. Nope.
Yeah, no, it was...
And again, and maybe they open late. Maybe they open on demand where there's more planes, and I don't know, but we were there. What time did we land in Miami?
We were there at 9:30, and then our next flight was at 10:45. And so our next flight was at 10:45, and that was from Miami to Cancun. And that, for an international flight, I've never seen the plane so empty, but it was probably 20% full. And, whenever you do board, the flight attendants tell you, and I meant to mention this about the last flight too, but please wait, if you want to move your seats so you can social distance, then just wait until the boarding process is complete and then ask a flight attendant, and then they can help move you around. Yeah,
because the flight attendant's going to make sure they balance the plane out, because they don't want everyone moving to the front or everyone moving to the back.
Right.
They do, when the plane's that light, they do have to do that balancing thing.
Right.
But I mean, overall, just to kind of high level the flight process, felt very safe.
Yeah.
Again, it's personal preference, but we felt very safe. Everyone did wear their masks. There weren't many people there. Didn't see anyone not complying with the mask requests in flight. Service was drastically different. That was a big difference.
Yeah, so, I just suggest when you get to the airport, go to, one of the travel news stores or whatever, and then get yourself a soda, a bottle of water, and a snack, something to have on the flight.
Yeah. It's the new. I hate everyone saying the new norm.
Yeah,
it's not. Because I don't think this will be the new norm forever. I think.
Oh no, I think just
until
for the foreseeable future. Hopefully only a few months, but we'll see. Another thing, which I actually kind of like this, but when we landed, they tell you to please not stand up until your row is ready to deplane, and that way, it helps to avoid crowding in the aisles, which, I mean, everybody knows. I hate that. When you land, everybody immediately stands up, crowds the aisles, and it's like, you're not going anywhere. So they actually come over the intercom on the plane and tell you to not do that, so you can avoid the crowding and do social distancing. So that's kind of cool. But
yeah, and then you have I think you have the rookie travelers where in normal circumstances, you're sitting down and people in the back of the plane, they literally land, that bell rings, they grab their luggage and dart to the front, just cut in front of everybody.
Well, yeah, that's not good plane etiquette.
Unless you're literally about to miss a flight, which I can understand. I got no
if you're going to miss
that.
your flight, yeah.
But I feel my gosh, it's every plane, there's people just bum rushing the front of the plane. I'm like, guys, this is... this is going to slow things down because now other people can get through. I don't know. I'm ranting at this point, but
so when we got to Cancun, like I said before, the procedures were not any different at all. I do want to mention this too. We did see, and I think this was at what airport were we at? It might have been Cancun or Miami. I can't remember which airport we were at, but we saw them fogging luggage with sanitation.
Yes, they were.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they were doing so I think there's a lot of things that we don't see behind the scenes that they do to keep it very clean and safe.
Right.
And I think that was in Miami, I think.
I think
was it Cancun? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was one of the airports, but we
looked out the window and they're fogging everything down.
Yeah, they were fogging all the luggage down with sanitizer. So, that's really good. I appreciate that. But, when we got to Cancun, as far as going through customs and immigration, the procedure was no different at all.
No, it really wasn't.
And so I was kind of surprised by that, but it was great. And then you go outside of the airport to meet your transfer company.
We had a private transfer, and then everyone, and I was really happy to see this, everyone's wearing masks, and even most of the transfer companies had face shields.
Most of them had face shields. And another thing I really liked, and we used Best Day travel experience they're in a lot of different Caribbean and Mexico places, but
but it's and if you look at it, it's
BD travel or experience, yeah.
Best Day experience.
They in the vans have a complete shield up from between the drivers and then the passengers.
Yeah, it's a thin plexiglass. They just kind of, you can see they mounted it.
Did I say sheet? Yeah.
Yeah, and then the driver and your tour guide or your concierge guy both had masks on as well.
Yeah, they both had masks and face shields.
And then they required us wearing masks.
And they required us to wear masks, and they made us sanitize, and they took our temperature before we got into the vehicle.
Yeah, so they did all of that. And then also, too, we had a private transfer, but I believe if you don't do a private transfer, you can do the more cost-effective method and do a joint transfer. I think they're very limiting, maybe 6 people in the van.
Yeah, that's what I
And
heard,
it's a very big van, so even if you have 6 people in there, you can still be spaced out enough. So I understand that. I think that's good.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Again, another process where we're like, wow, they're going above and beyond. We feel very safe. Never was uncomfortable with this at all.
Right.
I just hate wearing the mask, but you got to wear it. You got to wear it.
And then, so where we stayed is about an hour south of Cancun at Unico 2087 Riviera Maya, which we'll do a separate episode on our thoughts and experience there, but
it's going to drop probably Wednesday.
Probably Wednesday.
We're finishing it up. Yeah.
So one of the really cool things that I thought, so when our transfer pulled up to the resort, before they would let it on the property, they fogged the whole outside of the vehicle, including the tires and everything, with sanitation. They made the drivers put sanitizer on, and then they let us, go on and go to the main drop-off area, the front of the lobby.
Yeah, and we say fog the outside of the van because so most of these resorts, if you haven't been, they have a big gate that you have to go through, a security gate. It's a gated facility.
Right.
And then the transfer will check in with the security girl guy, whoever's there. And the person fogging the plane, it was almost like...
Fogging the vehicle.
It's almost like if you see these people that do landscaping work, they have the backpack on with the blower.
Right.
It was like a backpack blower type thing with a big thing of liquid up top. And they're just spraying the whole car down. And they're fogging it, keeping it very clean. So before you even get the van on property, it's almost impossible to have, COVID on it.
Oh, right. And then when we pulled up to the resort, they were so happy and welcoming, to us. They were very excited to have us there. So we step out of the van. They made us step onto a sanitation mat.
That's the first time I've ever seen one.
I was going to say, I've never seen this, but they made us step onto a sanitation mat and sanitize the bottom of our shoes.
Yeah, and I'm not, we're not doctors here or anything, but I do know that I've heard that a lot of transferable diseases actually stick to the bottom of your shoes.
Oh, yeah.
So when you like flu season, when you walk into your house from walking outside in the world, because people are coughing and spitting on the floor, your shoes pick that up.
Yeah.
So we had never seen this before, but the sanitation mat, just to kind of give you a visual.
I kind of want one for our house.
I know. It was a black mat, very thin, maybe a half-inch thick.
Yep.
Black mat, and you could tell there was some fluid on it. Like you could tell there was a green fluid on it, and it wasn't like you don't splash it. There was like indentions to keep your shoes from splashing on it, but you could tell your bottom of your shoes were getting kind of cleaned, and then you would walk onto a towel, so you don't slip and fall. But we had never seen that. But he said, "Yeah, please step on the mat." So we did. We stepped on and then walked onto the property.
Yep, and they took our temperature.
Right there, temperature check right there.
Then they made us put sanitizer on, and then they allowed us to go inside of the lobby. And then inside the lobby, of course, they have like all the shields up, and at the counter, whenever you're talking to the employees. And then we were there, and we're like, okay, we could take our mask off then because they're not required. And it was, I can't wait to talk about this resort, but it was beautiful. But everything else too that they had in place there, as far as social distancing, and they had the pool chairs and beach chairs separated at least 6 feet apart. All the tables in the restaurants were that way. If you wanted to go to the gym, they only allowed 6 people in the gym at a time, so it was highly recommended that you make a reservation, because they now are doing that where you can make a reservation for the gym. And before you entered the gym, you again had to step on a sanitation mat and sanitize your shoes. They took your temperature. Same for the spa.
And the gym too, after you're done lifting weights, after you're done using any equipment in the gym, they told you not to clean it, and they had 2 or 3 people in there at all times.
Right.
They would actually go clean the equipment, so they didn't even want you putting it back. So for people that lift weights, like I lift weights, I'll pick up some dumbbells. They said, no, put them back on the floor so we know you use them, and we're going to clean them ourselves.
Yes.
Because a lot of gyms rely on self-cleaning. Like the user of the equipment gets a little rag and sanitizer and cleans it, but they didn't want to. They said, we're going to handle all cleaning.
Yep. They said, please leave everything here, and we'll take care of it. And then, as far as going into all the restaurants, every time you went in there, they wanted you to sanitize your hands. And so, it was a lot of really good practices, and we always felt very safe. And I would highly recommend it.
Yeah. And the only time they did temperature check was on property.
Yes.
Right when you get there, that's the only time you do it. Yeah.
No, they checked it every time we went into the gym.
Oh, the gym, they did the temperature check, yes.
And the spa, they would check your temperature. And then we did go do one local tour, and we'll talk about that on the next episode. But they also, before they allowed us in that van, they took our temperature.
Yeah, exactly. And so overall, like considering all the precautions and enhanced cleaning and sanitation procedures that are in place, I never once felt like worried about anything.
No, I didn't.
I'm like, man, this is squeaky clean.
And then, as far as when we left Cancun, so this was kind of interesting, but
By the way,
did.
All staff members had masks.
Yes, everyone.
Everybody had a mask.
Everyone had a mask on.
Yeah.
But when we left Cancun, it was different, because then that is where they did make us fill out this form. I can't even remember who we gave it to, but we had to fill out a form stating where we had been.
Yep.
And we gave it to them at the airport. And then right before we went through security, they had a guy in a full-on hazmat suit, like standing there, taking your temperature as you walk by. It was like It was
new technology we had never seen before.
I'd never seen anything like this, but I guess it, was had some special like laser power. I don't know.
Crazy. Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it, but you walk by them and it apparently takes your temperature.
It almost looks like a little X-ray machine device you would see at like a dentist office.
Yeah.
It was like it had a white arm coming down. It had these 2 circular, what looked like cameras on them, and the guy standing behind this machine with a screen. And we're walking by, and I'm like, I've never seen that before. But he's noticeable because he looks like a doctor. He's wearing the white trench coat, shield on, hazmat suit, looked like very just. And you don't see that at the airport every day.
Yeah, no, you don't see
that.
So
I turned around, as we walked by him. This is right as we're getting into the security line. I turned around to see what the screen looked like. I'm like, what's this guy doing? And literally, I could see people behind us walk in, and it was literally taking their temperature remotely. Like it was scanning your body temperature from afar. It was really crazy to see. What I want to know, though, I guess we could have asked, is what are they going to do if someone has a higher temperature? Are they not going to let you fly? That's the thing I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
So maybe they would have flagged us, said, oh, your temperature is 102. We can see it on our technology.
Right.
But that part was a little crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know what would have happened. Maybe they would have said, hey, you shouldn't fly, or now you have to wear your mask. I don't know.
Yeah, that part I'm not sure. So,
but there were things like that, and then you're right. We had to fill out that extra form.
Yes,
that certified where we had been,
the dates,
where we stayed, where we left from.
Right,
we put Charleston down. It was interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But in the Cancun airport, there were things open. There was lots of different restaurants open. Not all the shops were open, but they did have several shops open. And which we gotta get that dog toy out of my book bag. We bought a dog toy from a local vendor.
Oh yeah, the Cancun airport. They had a dog toy.
I just remembered that. Anyways, but yeah, restaurants and everything were open there, so it was a lot more normal. Now we flew from Cancun back into Charlotte, and then we got off. We finished in Charlotte and then drove back, but it was a little different, I thought, in customs and. Hopefully this doesn't sound bad, but it was almost like the customs agents like needed something to do because maybe there's not as many people,
they were bored.
Yeah, like coming there. So our flight landed at the same time that one from Jamaica landed. Yep. And we both have global entry, so which I highly recommend. You just go, you scan your passport, your fingerprints, it prints you out a receipt, and you
avoid the line.
You avoid the lines. You literally walk by and hand it to them, and you're done.
It's different than mobile passport. Global entry is enhanced.
You have to pay for it. It's $100. It's good for 5 years, and then it also comes with TSA pre-check. I mean, you have to go in and do an interview, which I don't know if they're doing interviews right now. I don't think they are. So,
yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, you might have to wait a little bit, but I do recommend it. So for some reason, my global entry did not work, and I just renewed it. So, and you don't have to go into an interview if you renew it, but
I think the machine messed up.
So it did not print me out a receipt
because it's a digital machine that like scans your fingerprints and it takes a picture of you it's like an automated TSA agent,
right? And so then I get to the agent who usually just takes your receipts, and he didn't even have his computer pulled up. So I'm standing there waiting, and then they eventually make me go to a different line where non-U.S. residents were waiting to talk to someone there. And when I was waiting, it just seemed like maybe they normally do this, I don't know, but they were really questioning the person in front of me, like why she was there, what she was doing. And I've never seen that before, but
it could have been. I mean, I'm sure they probably do that more than we think.
I'm sure they do, but it just seemed like they asked her a lot of questions, and
it felt like enhanced security for sure.
It did. And then when he just went on ahead and went through so we could get our bags. And when he was waiting there, they stopped him, and they had a dog in there and told him to put his book back down. So
let the dog sniff my book bag.
Yeah, and so it just seemed like a little more intense. I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't.
Yeah, it's not. It was not bad at all. It
just felt like they weren't messing around. Like
right, and it just seemed like more
strict processes that you had to adhere to.
And I guess that was because there was only 2 international flights landing there at that time instead of
20,
the usual
10. They have a dozen of them, but yeah. The lady walked up to me, and it wasn't a German Shepherd dog. It was like a little dog, and she's like, I was on my phone. I don't think I should have been on my phone.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to be on your phone.
She goes, sir, you gotta get a phone. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. It's a work call. I'll put it down. And she goes, she said something, where are you going? I was like, where am I going? I was like, home? She said, I know. Where's home? I was like, Charleston? How are you getting there? I was like, well, I'm leaving. I'm just leaving. I'm going there right now. She goes, well, I know that. By plane or by car? I was like, oh, well, I'm going to rent a car and drive. And she goes, put your boat back down. I was like, oh, my God. I was like,
yeah, so it just
this is crazy.
Yeah, it just seemed like.
That was just probably random.
It was, but it just seemed like, maybe they might have needed something to do. So it was a little more intense, which is fine.
Yeah, it was fine. I mean, I always it's cool. Like, they got to do their job, so I'm good with it.
Oh, absolutely. But overall, I would highly recommend it. We always felt very safe, and it was one of the most relaxing and best vacations that we've had.
Much needed.
Yes.
And we can't wait to talk about the property again. That podcast will probably hit on Tuesday or Wednesday. We'll probably get it out.
Yeah.
But, man, it was such a much needed vacation. But overall, we felt safe. I mean,
yes,
the changes were minimal at times, and then at other times it felt like, okay, this kind of sucks. Like the mask thing on the plane.
Right,
that you will notice a difference in that, because people even today don't wear their masks for 3 hours straight.
Right.
That is a difference.
Yeah, so be prepared for that. I would suggest bringing a snack and something to drink on board the plane with you. One other thing I want to mention, as far as, were the security lines long? We did not experience that. They were not long at all. You just went right through.
Yeah, very, very fast. I mean, we traveled early in the morning both times. Coming back, we're more midday, but going there, we're early in the morning, and it was fine. Yeah,
right.
It was crazy.
Yep. And
I'd do it again, 100%. We are going to do it again.
I would definitely do it again. Now, that was, Mexico didn't really have any other entry requirements, but there are a lot of places that do. So make sure that before you travel, you do check their tourism websites to find out exactly what you need to do before you can enter.
Yeah. Yeah. So, check the websites, get the most up-to-date information, talk to your travel agent, hopefully a Penyak travel agent.
Yes.
But yeah, can't wait to do it again, honestly.
Yes.
Can't wait to do it again.
We are supposed to be going to Barbados in August. Hopefully that will still stick. The resort has not announced an opening date yet, so hopefully that still happens. And yeah, we're going to do it again.
Yeah, we're going to do it again. And I got to get a video out about this one. So there's
Yes.
going to be check our Facebook, I'll put it on IGTV, and I will definitely get it on our YouTube channel.
Yes.
So, and thank you guys so much for hitting us up. We really appreciate it. We've gotten so much love on Instagram, now on YouTube, on Facebook. You guys have been awesome. A lot of listeners to the podcast hitting us up. But we hope we're giving you some good content, some advice. Again, if you have any other questions, feel free to hit us up. And we can't wait to drop the Unico podcast, because
Yes.
I can't even play spoiler alert. I can't even play spoiler alert on it, because I'm excited for this one.
So you're forgetting, do you have a question of the day?
Question of the day. Yes, I actually do have a question of the day.
Oh, I was going to say, I didn't think you prepared this.
Yeah. This one came in also on Instagram. And this is almost like it felt like this is kind of a almost like a travel agent. This is like a grapefruit you can knock out of the park here. Ideas for a girls trip. Like, what would you? They were just like, hey, we would love to hear more. Give us your thoughts on question of the day for girls trip, group of girls.
Well, I guess it kind of depends on,
That's the thing. These things can be vague sometimes.
Right. Yeah. It depends on what you want in a vacation. But I definitely, who doesn't love to have a girls trip and go hang out at the beach or a resort,
Exactly.
So, I would suggest
what about budget?
something like that.
I didn't read in the notes here, but give me a budget-friendly girls trip.
Well, what we're talking about, Cancun.
Cancun's a very budget-friendly
Very
one.
budget-friendly, and
you get a lot of good value in Cancun.
You get a lot of good value.
For what you... So it's not only budget-friendly where it's a less expensive place. You get...
you can get a lot nicer of a resort there,
Yes.
for what you're spending. And, I do get the question a lot, oh, well, is it safe? I've been to Mexico. We both have been many, many times, and I have also traveled there by myself for work, and I have never had any issues. I've never felt unsafe. I would just say always make sure you're, with a reputable tour company or, taxi driver,
Get recommendations from a travel agent. Not trying to
Right.
give us another plug, but just talk to professionals and I've never felt unsafe.
Take all normal safety precautions that you would take here. That's what I say.
Exactly. Yeah,
So-
it's no different than honestly watching yourself as you would in the United States.
Right.
It's just another country, and just.
But that's definitely a great budget-friendly option.
I like Cancun and Jamaica too, right?
Yes, Jamaica's going to be a little bit more expensive, but yes.
Depending, Montego Bay is pretty good. And then also too, I think about you went on a bachelorette party in Miami, but that's not
Yes.
that budget-friendly though.
Well, by the time you fly there and you stay at a hotel and then you eat
Drink
and
some
drink,
food, it adds up.
especially right now with the deals that Cancun has, you would spend less there.
Yeah, so that's a question of the day I can't even chime in on. That's
Yeah.
it's more
Let
of a you.
the expert do it.
Yeah, I know we're getting a lot of feedback that I just need to shut up.
Yeah, there you go.
So I'm going to shut up on stuff like this.
There you go.
All right. Well, that's a show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to us.
If you want any more info on what you've heard, slide into our DMs. Go to our website, penyaktravel.com, or you can give us a phone call at 1-800-674-3278.
Comes right here to the Penyak Travel office, and we would love to hear from you guys. So mash the subscribe button. We need our subscribers up. If you want more information like this, we do these once or twice a week. We're going to start doing our travel news segment. We already had one of those. We're going to do another one of those for this week because the news is ever-changing in travel, especially right now. And tune in for Unico 2087 review.
Coming up next.
It's going to be a very intense review of this property.
Yes.
So anyways, we love you guys. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.